for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you.
It's 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to the morning news here on 3FM 92.7. This news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM. Coming up this morning, waste management companies across the country give government one week notice to settle all arrears or proceed on strike. Also, the OSP is scheduled to brief the public today. We'll follow that and bring you details on that in a shortly. And much later in this bulletin, stakeholders at a constitutional lecture reignites the call for extended presidential term limit. And later, farmers threaten to boycott the 2025 Farmers' Day celebration. We have details of these and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, we'll start off with some steaming conversation and issues where stakeholders at a constitutional lecture in Accra are calling for a review of Ghana's presidential term of office without delay. They poised that extending the term could promote continuity and strengthen the country's development agenda. The call was made at a forum organized by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana in Accra.
We are the Prime Minister has no set terms. And honorable men and women, this is also the constitutional framework that we created at independence. A prime ministerial system where we reward the best leaders on the basis of performance. And we do not sack leaders on the basis of having served 1 term or 2 terms. But persons or leaders were rewarded on the basis of performance. As we speak now, Ghana has got the shortest term limit for the presidency system across the entire Africa. It's only in Ghana and Nigeria where the president is given 4 years to produce magic.
That was Dr. Daniel Apia. He's a lecturer and a governance expert at the University of Ghana Business School. Now, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu is calling for the resignation of the Auditor General from post, accusing them of leaning on their duty to the state by failing to protect the public purse. His comments follows a latest revelation by the Auditor General's report uncovering massive financial irregularities at the National Service Authority amounting to 2.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now, according to the latest forensic and technical audit report, the losses stem from system bypass, poor governance, payroll manipulation, and vendor mismanagement between 2018 and 2024. In one startling finding, the report revealed that the Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme, that's Gifty Owari Mensah, was wrongly listed on the scheme's payroll as a service personnel, despite serving as a full-time public officer. This is the legal practitioner which finds it disturbing, blaming the Auditor General for failing the country all of these years. He spoke on Hot Edition.
It tells me that the Auditor General had been sleeping on the job in the previous years or was conniving with the previous administration. That much we have to say clearly. Where was the Auditor General when all these things were happening? Johnson is here doing, okay, yes, Equiamwa, right? Where were the Auditor General and his staff all these years? And that's the first question they must answer. Elsewhere, the Auditor General would have resigned first. As soon as he saw this report, he would have resigned, meaning that he's not up to the task, because if there hadn't been a change of government, these things wouldn't have come up. So I think the Auditor General should honorably resign. He and all of his management members, they should just go, because they just show that they've been sleeping on the job for all these years.
Private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu, now to sanitation, a member of the Parliament Select Committee on Water and Sanitation, Charles Bawudia, is entreating the Environmental Service Providers Association to further engage with government for an amicable solution to the concern to avert any existential consequences. The Environmental Service Providers Association says they will embark on a nationwide strike beginning November 7 in protest of government's failure to pay them. Speaking to the media, the Executive Secretary of the ESPA, Ama Ofori-Enchi, said the service providers were on the verge of shutting down due to mounting financial pressures.
As a committee member, I'm aware that the issue of non-payment has come to our attention. I think it had also to...
We call on the government to, as a matter of urgency, make payments to avoid a shutdown by the 7th November 2025. We therefore appeal to the government for the immediate release of outstanding payments owed to all waste management contractors by the 7th of November 2025. Without this intervention, service providers may be forced to suspend operations nationwide. ESPA regrets to caution that several landfills and treatment facilities across the country may face imminent shutdown.
And that was the Executive Secretary of ESPA, Ama Ofori-Enchi. Meanwhile, the member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Water and Sanitation, who acknowledged the challenges and issue, requested they have a little patience as government.
As a committee member, I'm aware that the issue of non-payment has come to our attention. I think it had also to do with the fact that these workers who are working so hard to ensure that our cities are very clean have been paid salaries and allowances that are so meager and do not meet the weight and quality of the work they do. And so government decided that it was going to look into the contract and to resolve the matter and to be sure that they were satisfied with their earnings. And so we as a committee have urged government to ensure that action on it. And I believe that this is being worked on. And I can only further ask government to continue to work on it and ensure that this matter is resolved as quickly as possible and that the workers get paid. I mean, it's so painful, and so dehumanizing to work and not get paid. And I think government is working on it and we'll find a solution to it. I would ask the workers to exercise further patience as they have already done.
And that was a member of Parliamentary Select Committee on Water and Sanitation, Charles Bawudia. Now, the minority in Parliament has defended its motion filed against the vetting of Paul Bafuboni as Chief Justice, indicating that the request will protect the interests of the acting CJ and the integrity of the judicial process. The caucus has demanded that all processes to vet and confirm the acting CJ be halted until all legal cases filed by the former Chief Justice are settled. A member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee and Member of Parliament for Kwesimintim, Philip Bachman, has pronounced the request dead on arrival.
Justice Tokonu has about 6 pending cases at various courts, high courts, all the way to the Supreme Court, and she has 3 pending cases at the ECOWAS courts. And we believe that for good order's sake, it's very, very important that we finish and complete exhaustively all matters that are still pending before we consider the nomination.
The minority are playing political gymnastics. So when would those cases in respect of her ladyship Tokonu end? If a lawyer says that this case is not going to end soon, all technicalities will be adopted to make sure it doesn't end soon. The seat is not the bona fide property of her ladyship Tokonu.
That was a member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament and a member of Parliament for Kwesimintim, Philip Bachman. The meanwhile, private legal practitioner, lawyer Mam Hersi, says Parliament cannot be binded by the motion.
The fact that a motion has been brought, they say Parliament is the embodiment of its own rules. Parliament in its wisdom could decide to say we want to hold on, but where Parliament in its own wisdom decide not to uphold that particular motion, then it means that the minority has no case. It must be a proper application which would invoke the right jurisdiction of a court of competent jurisdiction to hold the hands of Parliament. Other than that, it is just mere I am guided by my word. But it will just be an emotion that probably would not necessarily cause or tie the hands of Parliament.
Private legal practitioner Christian Malm Hesse there. That's the first half of this morning's bulletin. For more news, please log on to our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Halika. Michael Obodu comes your way with business.
And we're back here on the 3FM Sunrise, 6:12. Time for us to bring you the very latest from the world of business. Michael Obodu is here to do just that. Michael, good morning to you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm good.
What are we to expect in business this morning?
Well, two top things. The Bank of Ghana is urging us as an economy to focus on value addition as the next phase of expanding this economy. And, on the back of that also, the World Bank has released a report stating that global commodity prices will hit an all-time low next year.
Already?
Yes.
All right, Michael with the details. Stay with us for the news.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to the business news on Sunrise. Coming up, Bank of Ghana urges country to maximize local production via value addition for sustainable growth.
Gold, cocoa, and oil remain vital, but the next phase of our growth must come from our value addition.
And global commodity prices are expected to fall to a 6-year low by 2026, marking the 4th straight year of decline. Meanwhile, Director of ISE, Professor Robert Dako Osei, says it may be a double-edged sword that might benefit consumers despite hampering government's revenues.
The gains from the world prices are passed on to consumers. That in itself could mean that individual households will have a bit more room to spend.
I am Michael Obodu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. Now, the Bank of Ghana has stressed the need for Ghana to drive its economy through targeted efforts at maximizing local production through value addition. The central bank argues that although the economy has chalked major successes, it has largely been on the back of raw materials, development that might not be sustainable in the long term. The Ghana cedi has appreciated by nearly 40% year to date, with inflation now in single digits, the lowest in 4 years after opening the year at around 23%. The Bank of Ghana says the country's foreign reserves have also seen significant improvement, while external debt levels have declined meaningfully. However, the central bank maintains that the next phase of Ghana's economic recovery must focus on boosting domestic production and adding value to raw materials.
Production or productivity is crucial in safeguarding both the value and stability of the currency. Indeed, stability without production or productivity is hollow. A currency derives its enduring wealth from what a nation produces and sells to the world. Ghana's fundamentals, gold, cocoa, and oil remain vital, but the next phase of our growth must come from our value addition.
Meanwhile, the Vice President emphasized that the gains made were not accidental, but the result of deliberate efforts and must be deepened to reinforce the gains achieved.
Our gold reserves have multiplied. Agreements with creditors have eased debt distress. The fiscal reforms are beginning to bear fruit. These are not miracles. They are the outcomes of deliberate, disciplined choices. However, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the time for complacency. It is a time for consolidation.
You heard the Vice President, Professor Jainana Opoko Ajiman, speaking there earlier. You heard the advisor to the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. John Kwabena Kwachi, speaking. Now, the World Bank's latest commodity market outlook projects a 7% drop in prices for both 2025 and 2026, driven by weak global growth, a growing oil surplus, and policy uncertainty. Energy and food prices are easing, helping to slow global inflation, but prices remain well above pre-pandemic levels, with 2025 figures still 23% higher than in 2019. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
Oil demand is slowing, especially in China, while electric vehicle uptake rises. Brent crude is forecast to average $60 next year, a 5-year low. Meanwhile, gold and silver are surging as investors seek safe haven, with gold prices up 42% this year alone. The World Bank warns that geopolitical tensions, extreme weather, and AI-driven energy demand could disrupt markets further. It is urging governments, especially in developing economies, to use this window to reform subsidies, invest in infrastructure, and build long-term resilience.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Meanwhile, the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, Professor Robert Osei, says the anticipated decline in global commodity prices could pose fiscal challenges for government revenues, but may offer relief to consumers at the fuel pumps. Speaking at the launch of ISE's State of the Ghanaian Economy 2024 report, Professor Osei emphasized that to cushion the economy against potential shocks, value addition must be prioritized in the year ahead.
If it hits a low, if you take your gold and if it's cocoa prices have been on the up. We haven't seen the returns in terms of output and the value of our cocoa exports significantly improving, right? If oil were to dip, it will come and bite us on one hand, but we are net importers of oil, right? So on the other hand, we then can get some relief, and if indeed the gains from the world prices are passed on to consumers, that in itself could mean that individual households will have a bit more room to spend. So it's, again, we are not big players. The challenge is for us to do the value addition.
That was Director of ISE, Professor Robert Dakum Osei speaking. We'll turn our attention now to the currency and commodities market and bring you updates.
You know the challenges we are having in Africa.
Oil demand is
on the interbank foreign exchange market. The dollar is selling at 10 cedis, 85 pesos. It recorded no price change. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis, 37 pesos. It lost 4 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis, 65 pesos. It recorded no price change. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $64.97 per barrel, up by 58 cents. Gold is trading at $3,955 per ounce, up by $3. Cocoa is trading at $6,044 per ton, up by $42.
And those were updates from the currency and the commodities market, bringing an end to the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Sunrise continues, and man like Egbeta just walked in. How are you, my brother?
Michael, we're well. It's another day. It's a Thursday, right? Getting a bit confused as to the days, but yes, it is a Thursday, and the show is going to continue with the newspapers, and then we'll get to see what's been happening. But how have you been? I didn't think I've seen you in the entirety of this week, have I?
We've met a few times, probably on the corridor.
Off the top of my head, I don't think I have. I've seen you in the office.
What is occupying your mind lately that you are losing track of time and losing track of whether or not you've met your colleagues on campus?
That's... I'm not sure it's...
And these days you seem very in a pensive mood when you're even strolling down the corridor.
Pensive?
Yeah, like there's a lot going through your mind. And my brother, is everything okay?
I don't think that would be a right description of my everyday detours in and around the company. But anyways, yeah, pensive. I mean, I'm thinking too, if I walk around pensive, I like to. Okay, so what mostly will happen is if I'm going somewhere, I'm going straight to the place. I don't like to.
Okay, I like the way you're explaining and justifying, so it means that we're not that far-fetched.
Not pensive. I'm not sure pensive will be an appropriate.
You pronounce the word like it's an offensive word, pensive.
No, I say pensive because I'm trying to think through it and gather my thoughts and try and remember. So
engaged in, involved in, or reflecting deep or serious thought. What is wrong with you walking with a pensive mood?
Okay, maybe. But do I walk around looking serious? Is what I'll be asking myself. Perhaps I do. Perhaps I do.
You are in denial at the moment.
Perhaps I do.
You are in denial, but we'll take it like that. Anyways.
Perhaps I do, but thank you very much. We'll get into the newspapers shortly, and then we as well will have to hear from our listeners. But I know in between now and then, we can do this one song just quickly before we get into all of that.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the